Well, we've got Lee and Mark Jensen from the mag in the back page here, and we'll not be shy. We'll say our cameraman is our Sunderland person yet again. Oops, the lights went out last week. The lights have gone out again. We've got to say, guys, that Lee first. Newcastle didn't play very well, but they were too good. They were still good enough to beat Sunderland.
Yeah, I thought Sunderland were really poor. And to get the first goal so early was great, and then to get the one before half time just killed them off really as a contest. It was all over, and I just think Newcastle probably could have won by more really, and they didn't really get out of first or second gear, you know. So I think it was quite sweet to beat the Sunderland, you know.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a strange game, because obviously there was a lot of passion there from the fans, but there was, I would say, there was passion there from the Newcastle players. But I did expect to see Sunderland come out the blocks and try and kick Newcastle off the pitch, which is what normally happens at St James's Park. But unfortunately for them, they didn't do that until we were 2 goals up, and then they started running around the pitch when it was too late, and they ended up getting the 5 or 6 bookings, whatever it was, in the second half. And I think that Newcastle inequality that was on the pitch was shown by those in black and white, and I think that if I was a Sunderland fan, which thankfully I'm not, I think I'd be quite gutted at how Keane put his team out and how the players reacted to the game, you know. To
be fair to James Hunter, who covers Sunderland for us, he said that Roy Keane's tactics were wrong and his team selection were wrong, which is quite a brave thing to do with Roy Keane. But he says, to be fair, he says Roy's very fair on things like that. But I think we're all agreed that Kenwyne Jones didn't look a bad player. Mr. Cameraman, look interested, please. Kenwyne Jones didn't look a bad player, but we just had no support. And I mean, I think that Sunderland only had one chance all game. Spoke to Harps after the game, absolutely delighted, wasn't he? And you spoke to your man again, Javi Bear. What a fantastic player he is.
Yeah, he's turned out to be a class signing, you know, and he seems to be getting better as well. And fans seem to have warmed to him as well, and he's got plenty of experience to bring in. Obviously, former Marseille captain, and that's part of the Aldice legacy. One of the positive things that's come of it, you know. And hopefully, he can continue enjoying his football and be a key player next.
Yeah, Javi Bear, big favourite, Mark.
I think from day one for me, that seeing him play, I think that in a struggling team, he still looked a decent player, and despite his role at the minute of having to basically cover the whole right hand side at times because of the way Newcastle are set out, but he's excellent defender and got real composure going forward, and having a defence full of Javi Bears would be wouldn't be such a bad thing. But just going back to the match itself, I just thought that there was obviously a lot of similarities with when we went down to the stadium a late early in the season, that whereas Allardyce set his stall out in a bit of a cowardly way, I think that Keane did the same, of trying to just stop Newcastle playing with one up front and hoping for the best. And we got away with it because I think we've got better players than Newcastle, so we scraped a draw. Whereas obviously you saw on Sunday that they don't have the quality, and if they'd had Chopper up front with Jones from the start, at least they might have created something where it was a bit like us playing against Man U, just sitting back and waiting for them to score, and then the game's finished before you've started, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they showed on Match of the Day last night exactly what you're saying. They showed a clip from the Sunderland game and at the Stadium of Light, and the ball was just getting hit long, and they were all over the place really. As you say, Alan Smith was playing anchor man. It was a shambles, and how we got out of there with a point, I don't know. But yesterday it was just so fluid, the football going forward, and it's what people want to watch, and that's the thing that Keegan knows all about, and what he's got started again.
I think it was only a question of time as well, that so when you've got 3 forwards, 3 completely different forwards like Newcastle played, they were always going to give you something at different times. So Martins is going to do something out of the blue. Once you get into Viduka's feet, as was shown, you're going to create something, and then Michael Owens at some time in the game he's always going to get on the end of something. So all those things happened, and it created the 2 goals.
The 3 different strikers, and they're hard to handle. Speaking of Michael there, Mark, I spoke to Chris Maud after the game. He was absolutely on cloud 9. I've heard the radio this morning, and there was talk about Michael being non-committal about his future. But I mean, straight after a game, the adrenaline's high. I mean, it is for us, and but Chris Maud's now saying that they're going to sit down and sort this out, which is fair comment, because I mean, we think the most important thing has been keeping Newcastle in the Premier League, and everything else has been pushed into the background.
Yeah.
Do you think the fans are concerned about Michael Owen, Mark, or not?
I think that obviously he's had a bit of a strange career at Newcastle. Obviously, it's been a bit of a disaster in recent times, just with the injuries, and I think he's been written off because he hasn't been playing, and he's been not being able to do anything, and it's shown he's a class act. Like form's temporary and class is permanent, and that's the case with Michael Owen. Once he gets on the pitch, gets decent service, he'll score goals. I don't think there's any kind of mystique to it. That's the kind of player he is, like an Alan Shearer. And even a rubbish penalty like he took yesterday, as he says, I think in the papers this morning, that
we don't read them on papers, we just read the Chronicle.
No, I just scan them and then read the Chronicle. But basically he's quoted as saying that when you're playing well, then those go in, isn't it? And that is maybe kind of like Newcastle's season in a nutshell, when obviously we were rubbish early in the season. Nothing went right forward.
Right.
Every bit of bad luck came our way, and now obviously, and you make your own luck, isn't it? And there's no truer thing at the minute.
Do you expect to be shifting a bit more Michael Owen merchandise from the back page then in the next couple of years? Or?
Yeah, it's obviously just like fans are loyal to the team, in the back page, fans are in all through the week, and obviously on match days it's a bit mad, but we definitely find after the match that we still get people in, but if there's been a good result like we've had recently, then people are coming in looking for those feel-good purchases, and just Michael Owen, it's just great to have a player like that at Newcastle United, and you'd like to think, as Keegan said, that they'll move heaven and earth to keep him there, because it's all very well looking for the best to come in, but if you're going to lose one of the best, and plus it's a bit of a talisman, it's a bit like the Shearer thing, isn't it? Having him still there will hopefully help attract people, give us the profile.
I don't really know, Mark, but after the game we've got asked for players, away games is different, sometimes they walk past us, and pardon me, the two players I asked for yesterday were Steve Harper and Stephen Taylor, because I knew what it meant to them. And Stephen Taylor, he was last off the field. Yeah. And by the time we asked him, he was there. He was in the US. And he's come out with a wonderful quote there. There was no better feeling on the final whistle than seeing the Sunderland players with faces like smack backsides. And it was Lee that said that's a fantastic. So I wasn't so sure this morning whether we should go with that.
It's got your byline on it.
But I do take advice. I do take advice, and do you like that? I mean, you mentioned the Sunderland echo there when, of course, that stupid we stuffed them, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah. And I think that, obviously, somebody like Stephen Taylor, he understands what it's all about, and so it's good, as you say, so obviously quotes from Sahabi Bey as well, so the combination of the two people, somebody's coming in from a totally different league and culture, and, having that comparison and contrast, but they both understand what a Newcastle win over Sunderland means.
Yeah.
You're not praising the Chronicle there, Mark. It's not what fancying people do,
Oh, we've all got our own motives, and we all come from different viewpoints, but it's the same with anything, isn't it? So much like the team, you've got to be objective and praise where it's due, and obviously the Chronicle is the thing that people look to first for the news on Newcastle United, and
it's easy for us, Mark, when they win. It's a lot easier. We saw that Stephen Taylor's right. After all the troubles last night, the Sunderland players were sitting in reception for about an hour, and they looked there. It was the end of the world. But Stephen Taylor just epitomises everything to me about what it's like being a Geordie and everything. And you're the same. So we've got to say you've enjoyed tonight's Chronicle. Mainly, you've got to start on tomorrow's Chronicle now. You've got to go back to the back page, and you'll have a few people. We'll sell a lot of Chronicles tonight.
Yeah.
So you'll sell a lot of memorabilia, and so everybody's happy?
Yeah, everybody's happy, and obviously until the last one.
Nearly everybody's happy, apart from our little cameraman then. He's going to cut us off.
Bless the look.
You've been bragging again. Good, well done, lads.